Hi guys! So I'm gonna do another one of the subscriber Christmas list, and this one was really hard for me. I think it's really hard for everybody, for a lot of gamers. It's my top 10 favorite games of all time. The whole of all time is so hard for me because especially when you put a number, when you're like the top 5 or the top 10, it's like, dude, I need like top 50. So I'm gonna do this. These are just Xbox games. I'm not going to go into the Nintendo games or anything like that. I'm going to do a separate one, actually, because I think I have a subscriber Christmas list suggestion to do, like, my favorite retro games or something like that. So I'll just save it for that, since I am limited to just 10. I'm not doing series, where it's like, well, my favorite number 5 is the Mass Effect series. No, I'm doing actual games. I've never done this before. I've done my top 5, but I put series together, like the Dragon Age series, the Mass Effect series. So this is the first time I do it, and this is so hard. Also, I wanted to mention that this list is constantly changing. And there are some games that I absolutely love that I'm playing right now, but I haven't beat yet. So I can't really add it to this list. I'm only putting games that I actually beat on this list, because if I didn't beat it, I can't really put it on the list yet. So if you're like, how come this game isn't on there? It's probably because I'm still playing it, and I want to beat it before I actually say, yeah, this is one of my favorites. So let's get started. I'm going to start with number 10, Batman Arkham Asylum. Absolutely awesome game. I love this game. I had so much fun playing it. And not just because I love Batman, but because it has such a great story, such great gameplay. It's super fun. Just everything. And I love how it's almost realistic when it comes to Batman. Like, it's not like this super Batman that never gets his shirt ripped, or he never spills coffee on his on his suit or anything like that. Like, his suit gets all ripped up. And I love that. Number 9, Portal 2. This game was so much fun. We mentioned this, I believe, in the little podcast that I was in with Alex the Hunted and Scottish War 92, that Portal 2 just, it makes you think. And not a lot of games make you think. A lot of games are just reaction. They're just reaction based. And rhythm. It's almost like a rhythm that you get into in certain games. And Portal 2, it wasn't. There's one thing that Portal isn't. It's routine. It's not a rhythm. It doesn't follow a rhythm. Because you could have a puzzle that's super hard, and you're just like, oh my god, I can't solve this. You feel like you just can't solve it. And I remember being stuck for once I was stuck for like a day because I couldn't find out what to do. And then after that, you've got these puzzles, and you start to get into that habit of thinking like, okay, I've got to think complicated here. And all of a sudden it turns out to be this puzzle that's like super easy. Like, you were overthinking. So sometimes you find yourself overthinking, and other times you find yourself not thinking enough. So it tests you so much. Such an amazing game. And it's not just a puzzle game. There's such a deep storyline there that I absolutely adore. And the characters, it's a perfect game. I forgot to mention that these games, I'm putting them as my favorites. You guys will notice that I'm not putting some in here that you know that I love. Just because I'm basing these games off of them being like incorporating great story, a great gameplay, like overall. Because I do love some games, but mostly because of their gameplay and not so much because of their storyline. So I just have to say that. Number 8 is Batman Arkham City. This is where I got really confused. I was like, man, I feel like I want to move these up. Because I'm like, number 8? Because I really loved Batman Arkham City. It's such a great game. Visually, it's awesome. The soundtrack is amazing. The gameplay is so much fun. The combat is so cool. It's like a great Batman experience. And it just took Batman Arkham Asylum to the next level. It improves everything. The voice acting was amazing. The graphics for the facial graphics for the characters is awesome, and just the incorporation of the characters was so cool. So that I feel like this should be up there in my number 4 or something like that. But you'll see why. I just can't put it up. My number 7 is Grand Theft Auto 4. Some people kind of find it weird that I like Grand Theft Auto so much, Grand Theft Auto 4. A lot of people are like, are you serious? I don't know why I love that game so much. I just thought it was so different. The previous Grand Theft Auto games I have played, but I never really got into them. I was always like, oh, this is stupid. So Grand Theft Auto 4 was the one that I really, really got into. And just because of the story, I thought the story was so good. And I found myself wanting to play this game over and over. Like, I was hooked. And I wanted to know what was going to happen. And the story was just, it was like a movie. It was like a, I've always said if Guy Ritchie were to make a Grand Theft Auto film, it would be perfect. Guy Ritchie would be awesome to make a Grand Theft Auto film. It felt like you were playing this Guy Ritchie film or something like that. I just loved it. Like I said, I don't know why. But I got into the storyline. The gameplay was cool. I loved being able to just. I will give it that there were some things to the game that were like, well, stupid or they could have done it better. But I just had so much fun with it. So it has to be in my list. Number 6 is Portal 1. I've talked about Portal 1 a few times, and this game just blew me away. It blew me away. I've never played a game that made me feel the way that Portal 1 did. And not even Portal 2 came to that experience, in my opinion. And it's because Portal 1 was so fresh. It was a new idea. Nobody had done anything like it. And you went into playing the game thinking that it was just going to be a puzzle game, and then all of a sudden this storyline, this deep storyline, like manifests itself right in front of your eyes, and you're just like, it catches you off guard like nothing. And I loved it. I absolutely loved that game. My number 5 is Dragon Age 2. I really love Dragon Age 2. I mean, I love Dragon Age in general. I love BioWare in general. I think I liked it more than other games that I had mentioned just because I wanted to know more. Like, I wanted to know what was going on in that world. I was so excited for this game to come out, and I will admit it wasn't as great as I thought it would be. The storyline I really loved. I liked the storyline. And the combat system was cool. It was cleaned up and all that. Where it did suffer was the characters. The characters suffered so much, in my opinion. But the story kept it going. The story saved it, in my opinion. And just the way that it was told, I had never played a game like that. Someone telling the story and it spanning like 10 years. I loved that. I thought it was really fresh for me. I had never played a game like that. Whether other games have done it before, I don't know, but that was the first game that I ever played that was like that. And it was nice to have those relationships with people, with characters for so many years. Like, you would see them in 3 years, and then you would see them later in more years, and your relationship would just change with them. So that was cool. My number 4 is Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2, I have it in my number 4 spot because as great as the story was, I think these other games that I'm going to mention had better storylines than Mass Effect 2. I see Mass Effect 2 kind of like setting the stage for Mass Effect 3. Like, it didn't really have a big storyline. And it was preparing Shepard and preparing the galaxy, and kind of getting that the player ready for this imminent doom for Mass Effect 3. I mean, Mass Effect 2 was a lot more practical than Mass Effect 1, but I preferred all the customization options that you had in Mass Effect 1 that they took out in Mass Effect 2. So I'm glad to hear that they changed that for Mass Effect 3. It's going to be interesting to see that, like, a in between when it comes to the customization. For my number 3 spot is Dragon Age Origins. I don't think I've ever reacted the way that I did with Dragon Age Origins with any other game I've ever played. Like I've said this a few times, I was crying at the end of Dragon Age Origins. I grew to love these characters so much that I felt like they were my friends, like they were real. It suffered a lot in a few things, but not enough for the storyline and for the overall experience to be bad. Like, it could never. The graphics weren't great, but I could care less. Dragon Age Origins was kind of like your Mass Effect 1, where the customization was huge. You could not only customize yourself, but you could customize your party members. It was so much, but it was cool. I missed that in Dragon Age 2. Being able to customize your characters and giving them new armor and all that. So Dragon Age Origins is my number 3 spot. My number 2, Mass Effect 1. I love it. I love Mass Effect. And I think a lot of you that haven't seen some of my videos before are probably going to find it weird that I put Mass Effect in my number 2 spot. It's right there. Like, it's right on the edge. It used to be my number 1. Before I get to my number 1 game, I want to say why I love Mass Effect so much. And it's just the story. The story, the characters. I think just the experience of it being a new game, a new experience, especially for me. I had never played a game like that. I was just starting to play Xbox games when I played Mass Effect. I was more into like the Nintendo games and stuff like that. So Mass Effect 1 was one of my first Xbox games. So it was so new to me, and I was blown away by it. I was like, wow. I loved the customization. I loved the options. I loved the characters. I loved the story. I loved the depth of it. It was brilliant. I loved it. So that's why I prefer Mass Effect 1 over the other games. My number 1, Red Dead Redemption. I've never been able to really explain why I love this game so much. But I think it's because it incorporates everything that I absolutely love. The environment of Red Dead Redemption, just what you see, is absolutely beautiful to me. And it looks so cool. I'm a huge, I don't know why, I think maybe because I was born in the desert, not like in the actual desert, but in a town which pretty much is a desert. So I've always loved deserts, and just being able to roam around this desert in Red Dead Redemption was like on a horse. I love horses. It's a western. The character was awesome, John Marston. I loved John Marston. The story was great. The voice acting was super awesome. I loved it. The way that the characters would make these facial expressions was so cool. I mean, they didn't even have to say anything for you could actually read their body language. And I loved that. There's so many reasons why I have Red Dead Redemption on my number 1 spot. And I don't think a game is going to knock it off of that number 1 spot for a long time. But yeah, Mass Effect 1 was my favorite game of all time. And then Red Dead Redemption came, and I was like, this is my number 1. And it just knocked Mass Effect 1 a little bit. So Red Dead Redemption and Mass Effect 1 are like right there. So yeah, this was super hard for me. It was so hard because there's so many games that I was just like, I didn't know how to place them. Because to me, these are all my favorite games. And I really don't like to put them in numbers. Like, put them, which one I love more. Because I like them all for different reasons. But yeah, I tried. I tried my hardest. And if you were wondering, where's Skyrim? Or where's Skyward Sword? I haven't beat these. Like I said, I haven't beat the games, so I'm still waiting on those. Once I beat them, I will or play them further. They will probably make it on the list somewhere. That's pretty much it. If you guys want to do a video response to this, or just let me know what your favorite games are, feel free. Thank you for giving me this suggestion for the subscriber wish list. And yeah, I will talk to you guys later.